Hello, Steve White, Trekboy89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I just did my reaction to Starfleet Academy, the teaser, and now I've calmed down a little bit. I guess I should do an actual review of it and actually talk about some of the elements. The whole trailer is only about a minute long. It's basically part of what I guess is a welcoming speech to the first class of the Academy after 120 years after the burn. God, don't remind us of the burn. And of course, it's Holly Hunter. She's the Chancellor of the Academy. She introduces herself and basically says, "You're the first to come back. You're here to learn what made the greatest officers, and it's a nice speech. Go out, seek, boldly go." And during all this, they show shots of the primarily white cast. I mean, I know there's a few shades in there, but there's really only one black person. I don't think there's any Asian people or anyone really. It's primarily young, white, attractive people. Basically just doing young, white, attractive things around San Francisco Bay and the one set they've made. They keep going on about the biggest set we've ever made for Star Trek, and it's just the only set they've made for the series, and they just use it for everything. And then the rest is all location shoots, and I'm like, it didn't occur to me it could be that cheap, and it is. I'm like, oh god, it looks really cheap. Not that the cinematography is bad, but it's just the same San Francisco Bay over and over again. Now, we do see a couple interesting little things. We see something about Captain Sisko, like the mystery of Captain Sisko, and I'm like, does that mean they're going to explain what happened to him? And it's some story that they're looking at? Or are they establishing in canon that it was never solved and he never returned? Because there's a whole bunch of fan fiction and horrible comics that are supposed to be based on Star Trek but have more in common with Star Wars and generic sci-fi shows that have him coming back. So and it doesn't look like Avery Brooks, because it looks like either just a generic black man. They've got like backlit or photography of Avery Brooks, because he's old, a lot older and bigger now, so that frame is not him. What else do we see? We see a mother, I guess Tatiana. It looks like she's a mother with a child wishing her child to go to Starfleet Academy or something, and you see you're either here for your family or you're here for yourself, and you see, I guess, some sense of the backgrounds of the people, where they're from. The Klingon guy, he actually has a moment where he's sitting in a window looking up like wistfully or something. I'm like, could he have actually dreamed of Starfleet? Is he? Are they knocking off Nom, or whatever his name was, the guy from the DC comics from the 80s, in between Star Trek 3 and 4, when they didn't know what was happening and they had the crew on the Excelsior, and he wanted to be a scientist. So he was a scientist and he wanted to go to Starfleet Academy and he didn't want to be a warrior. Is he going to be that character? Are they ripping that off? Because they can't do anything original. Yeah, what else do we see? It's just a bunch of random images. Of course, we see the Doctor coming out. We see the awful uniforms with the asymmetric design and the asymmetric elements and details. And we see Jet Reno, and what else do we see? We see we don't see Tilly. We see a giant floating disc with it's like a little tiny pavilion or field or something that's hovering above Starfleet Academy. We yeah, what else we see? We don't see a lot. It's mostly just the kids just looking young and white and romancing each other and sitting on park benches and sunsets, and it's just, yeah. And then we have the last shot of the villains walking onto the set, whistling the Star Trek theme like it's a joke. And the idea that we have to have villains, like Starfleet Academy, it should be an anthology, so every episode should be a new lesson. The idea that there's one villain overall that they have to deal with the whole season, it just makes it so small. And just, oh, it's an American show, we have to have a bad guy and a battle and a villain, and there has to be war because that's our culture. This is supposed to be Starfleet, it's supposed to be the future, it's supposed to be universal. And they just limit it down to, oh, a villain for the season. I don't care if it's Paul Giamatti, what the hell ever he is. He's supposed to be a great actor. I've never seen him in anything in my life anyway. they're just the stereotypical wearing dark black leather. They look all grungy and they're all walking in a gang like, oh, we're all tough, hardcore. Like, the cliches here are just so. I'm trying to do a review, but I'm just still reacting. I'm all worked up again. It just is so bad. I don't know why I had any hope for this. I don't know why I thought this could be good. I guess because I could have, any Star Trek fan with an above average IQ and some artistic talent could have done a better job of this. And that's a lot of us. So it's really frustrating to have to sit back and watch Kurtzman do it. They're trying, this is their last hope to keep their contract and have a successful Star Trek series by being the most bland, generic, most far removed from Star Trek they could be, because they hate Star Trek, they don't get Star Trek, they don't believe in Star Trek. Kurtzman thinks it's dead and died years ago. So his response, let's just have the most Earth-based, generic, teen, but then set so far in the future it should look nothing that's recognisable, but it's totally generic, like they just filmed it yesterday. It's just... it's going to be bad. Or it's going to be nothing. It's either just going to be like, and not even register, or it's going to be so bad, it's going to make us all crazy. I don't know which direction it's going to go in. I think it's going to be so bland. I mean, you can't even spot the actors from the background because they're all wearing grey, because the costume designer was too stupid and didn't do any history and didn't realise you can't have people wearing grey uniforms in front of grey sets because they just disappear on metallic, monochrome sets. And the only good thing about it, like I said before, is at least the hot guy, he's basically wearing grey sweatpants, you know what I mean? So that's about it. There might be a perv for a couple of shots, which we never get in Star Trek because they're usually wearing black to avoid that. But that's about it. One shot was like, ooh, cute. Maybe two of that guy, and that's about it. The rest was just like, So yeah, okay. This is not going to do well. It's either going to not register or it's going to really suck and bomb. So I don't see Kurtzman getting a continuation. So this is horrific, but it's also good long-term for Star Trek because it's going to mean Kurtzman should be gone and someone else who knows what Star Trek is can come in and do a Star Trek series. Maybe in a few years we can have Star Trek again. After how many years now? 2017 this crap started. So what's that, 8 years we've been living through this hell? It may be over in 1 or 2. That's the only hope this series gives me, that it's going to be the last one, the end. I'm going to go. I needed that. Now maybe I can go on with my day, which was going really well until this came up. And that's what I hate. Star Trek used to be one of the brightest lights in my life. I used to love this show. It was what I hoped for the future to be. And now it's just this cringe fucking chore. And I just want it to be over, but then I still want it to come back and be something that can inspire me again and be beautiful. It's like, I have to stop, I have to go.